Then Machio started walking around Teju village so Sena and the others could recognize the villagers, including Machio's wives. Machio said that if they needed anything, they could ask Ramurias and the other maids for help. Machio understands their feelings. They thought would be treated badly in Teju village, just like in Howling village. But Machio kept calming them so they could enjoy the vibes in this village. For days Sena and her friends have been living in the village and are starting to adapt there. They also really enjoy the many facilities provided in Teju village. But there remains a major problem. Any new residents who come to Teju village will always faint when they see the Zabathan and Kuroyuki families. Well, it's natural to faint. Machio's pet is beyond human reason. Machio, his wives, and Sena also take care of the 3 boys who often play there. Sena also usually uses magic when guarding them. Of course, Machio was surprised that every race could actually use magic. The High Elves, Angels, Vampires, Beastmen, Machio's pets, and even slimes can use magic. After seeing that, Machio felt useless because he was the only one who couldn't use magic. The all-purpose farming tool does not belong to the category of magic, and is only a gift from gods and goddesses. But Sena encouraged Machio because he should be able to use magic if he practiced hard. The 3 boys will also train hard so they can use magic like the others. Well, even so, Machio is still grateful for living happily in this world. One day, when Machio was harvesting in the fields as usual, suddenly there was a loud bang from the forest. Maria reports to Machio that the grappler bear and bloody viper are fighting north. After hearing that, Machio was confused because a bear has a large body against a small snake. Maria said that Teju village couldn't attack them recklessly, but if they were allowed to fight, Teju village would also be affected. Then Machio asked Maria like this. Maria immediately took Machio north. Machio asked like that earlier because he was curious about the taste of the bear meat. He had heard rumors that many hunters didn't want to eat bears. After arriving at where Grappler and Bloody are fighting, Machio is surprised because the viper turns out to have a large size. Maria says that Teju village needs troops to fight them, but Machio didn't need it and immediately killed them. Well, if Machio's strength is like this, he wouldn't need magic power. After Grappler and Bloody were taken to Teju village, Anne asked Machio how to cook it. Then Machio immediately showed Anne and the maids how to cook these monsters. Machio also uses wine as the main ingredient for this dish. Of course, Machio's wives, Anne, Remurias, and the others were unwilling to have this precious wine used in cooking. But Machio says that there is this type of cooking, and it tastes delicious too. When the food was served, Machio and the others tried the food. Of course, everyone is happy because Machio's cooking is always delicious. But Machio felt there was a missing spice in this world, vinegar. Then Machio came to Flora's laboratory. Machio asked Flora for some medicine, but not strong medicine. After Machio explained the contents of the vinegar to Flora, Flora said that she had the medicine Machio was referring to. After Flora gave the medicine, Machio asked about the miso soup Flora was researching. Then Flora apologized to Machio because the miso soup research was hampered. Flora already knew how to make it from Machio's recipe. But sadly, she always fails at making miso soup. Even her research exploded, and she had to renovate some of the damaged laboratory parts. By the way, Flora has been living here since she brought the cows and maids to Teju village. Then Machio decided to make miso soup and complement the food taste with Flora in her laboratory. Machio wants to make mayonnaise first. He beat the eggs, then added the salt, vinegar, or the medicine Flora had previously mixed with the apples, last, a bit of oil. After the mayonnaise is ready, any fried food can be enjoyed more with the addition of this mayonnaise. Then they started making miso soup together. Then Ru calls Machio because other guests is coming to Teju village. They were from the elder dwarf race and were led by Donovan. They came there because they heard that Teju village has very delicious wine. They want to try it. At first, Machio allows the Teju village wine to be given to them for free. But Ru, Tia, Anne, and Flora are unwilling to have their precious wine given away for free. Donovan said that the dwarves didn't have enough money to pay for their wine. But Donovan offers them a technology to make wine. The harvest in Teju village was very good, and it could become the main ingredient for making the special wine of the dwarves.
飲んでみたくないか?
Then Donovan and his friends started making wine. After the wine was made, Machio tried it, and he felt that the alcohol content in the wine was really high. Because of that, the dwarves continued to make more of this wine for the Teju village. At night, they had a party to welcome Sena, her friends, and the arrival of the dwarves. Donovan and his friends will live in this village, and their job is to make wine from Teju village's harvest.
村長、ありがとうよ。わしらを快く受け入れて、ここで一つ俺の秘技をお見せしようではないか。つまみにぴったりだ。
マヨネーズ、気に入ったわ。このお酒、口の中で香りがパーッと広がりますね。
Then Machio was grateful because adult men were living in this village. Machio also whispered to Donovan about the lust of the girls in this village, especially the high elf race. Machio hoped that Donovan could provide them with lustful pleasures in bed too. However, Donovan turned down an offer from Machio. Donovan admits that the girls in this village are very beautiful, but Donovan is too old to keep up with them. Even Donovan wished there was a woman his age. Machio is surprised because the culture in this world is different from Machio's previous world. A few weeks later, the village of Teju is visited by a dragon, and Sabathan immediately rings the wooden bell. Of course, Machio was surprised to see such a powerful dragon flying over the village. He immediately put on the divine spear, but when the dragon wanted to spew fire on Machio's village, Dorame came and hit the dragon. Suddenly another white dragon came there. Machio immediately throws his spear because the white dragon wants to kill him.
こちらに向かって一直線。友好的とは思えない。お待ちください。あの方は敵ではありません。
Turns out they are Dorame's family. The white dragon is Dorame's wife, Grafalun, and their daughter, Lastismun. Graffa and Lasti suddenly attack Teju village because Dorame often goes there. Dorame always took things out of the closet, sneaked out at night, then came home in the morning. Because of that, Graffa and Lasti thought Dorame was having an affair with other women. Then Dorame nervously reasoned that he was carrying out friendly relations with Teju village. Because of that, he often came here. Of course, Lasti and Graffa grew suspicious of Dorame. Even Graffa was furious because Dorame didn't explain honestly. Dorame screams that he can't be cheating on her because he already has Graffa. Machio understands this family fights. He and the elves have even built a special villa for Dorame in Teju village. It wasn't a good trip home when it was late at night, so Machio decided to build the villa. Then Machio apologized to them for attacking earlier. Dorame's family also apologizes for coming to Teju village suddenly. Graffa and Lasti regretted that they had intended to burn and kill Machio before. Then Machio returned to work to help his wives in the fields. Dorame says that the village of Teju has extraordinary power. Graffa was in awe of this village, because a man could trouble the dragon race. It's just one person, what if the entire Teju village army? It will definitely be much stronger than the dragon race. Lasti also realized the power possessed by Machio, and fortunately, Graffa managed to dodge it in time. Graffa said that she was saved by Zabathan with his net. If there was no Zabathan, Graffa would be dead by now. Zabathan is a longtime comrade of Graffa. Then Graffa asked Lasti for help to stay in Teju village. Graffa didn't want to let go of the dragon race's relationship with Machio as the head of the village here. This is an important mission for Lasti for a reason.
せめて我々ドラゴン族に向かわないように努めるのです。
なんだ急に。
あなたは黙っててください。
はい。
Then Lasti immediately entered Teju village and met Machio again. After she told Machio her intention, Machio allowed Lasti to stay in Teju village. Lasti also wants to work and help the villagers, so Machio gives her some work.
ドラゴン族は何事も規格外なのか。
ドラゴン族さんですか？
しかし。
あれ？早速頑張ります。
Unfortunately, Lasti hasn't been able to work for days like other residents. Machio is discussing this with Tia. Machio's pets, cows, and chickens are also frightened by Lasti's power. This resulted in Teju village being temporarily unable to produce milk and eggs. Tia explained that the dragon race has extraordinary strength. Not only strength, but the knowledge of the dragon race is also very broad. After listening to Tia's explanation, Machio finds Lasti a suitable job. She will work as a guide or do anything about interacting directly with guests. For example, Bizzle. He wanted to buy food from Taeju village, and Lasty guided him to make the transaction go smoothly. Of course, Bizzle was surprised because he had just seen a dragon race in Taeju village.
柿やスイカなんかも。
いやーこちらも
Then Bizzle reported this to Randon and Blatt. Taeju village strength is increasing day by day. Initially, Blatt wanted to send a spy there, but Randon forbade him because this action would surely be suspected by the people in Taeju village. Because of that, Bizzle ordered his daughter Frau Rem to directly supervise Taeju village. Bizzle entrusted this task to Frau, and she also had to investigate the activities there. Then Frau will confidently fulfill the task that her father wants her to do. Frau has extraordinary magic power, so Bizzle doesn't need to worry about Frau.
一見なんてことのない村のようですが。
Lasty immediately welcomed Frau and took her on a tour of Taeju village. She had already heard from Bizzle that Frau wanted to live in this village. After Frau became acquainted with Lasty, she didn't expect a dangerous and famous dragon with ferocity to live in Taeju village. Even Frau was surprised because Lasty, the powerful dragon, proudly told of the many fields and facilities. After Lasty took Frau around the village, Maria called Lasty because people from the Howling village were coming to Taeju village. After Lasty apologized and said goodbye to Frau, Frau still went around to monitor and investigate every activity of the residents there. Even Frau also wants to analyze the strength of the troops Taeju village has.
ハイエルフまでいるのですか。それにあの3人も確か皆殺し天使とか言われていたような殲滅天使ティア。どうしてルールーシーと同じ村に貴族に追われて消息を絶ったかと思えばこんなところにいたなんて。獣人に貴人族ドワーフまでイーフェルドウルフとデーモンスパイダーがしかも群れをなして。
After seeing all the Taeju villagers, Frau felt that her magic power couldn't have any effect here. Frau was too proud of her own strength before, and that pride was shattered when she saw the strength of Taeju village. Then Frau sat on the edge of the village while looking at the arrangement of the Taeju village's strongest troop that she had made. Frau wanted to know who the leader of this troop was and how strong his skills were. Suddenly, Machio comes there and greets Frau. Of course, Frau was confused. Why was there a human here? Then Frau immediately said harshly to Machio and returned to Taeju village. After all, humans were the weakest race, so Frau didn't feel threatened by Machio's existence. Then when Frau asked Lasty about the chief, Frau was surprised because the man she had met before was the chief of Taeju village. She also felt guilty for having spoken harshly to Machio earlier. Lasty says that Machio can easily beat Grapha, so he's not a weak human like Frau thinks.
挨拶どころか私失礼な態度を。
Several days have passed, and Frau is used to working and living in Taeju village, but she still can't be normal with Machio. Frau is always nervous because she remembers her mistakes as well as the power that Machio has.
おはよ